Good late evening, ladies and germs. Brother Beanie here. In the last video, I talked about the shelf or shelves, the two parts, 1, 2, that Brother Grayson has sold me. And now we just gotta sit down. We gotta have a sit down and discuss how I'm gonna pay him back for that. Being a missionary from Canada in the US of A, full-time missionary, because I do that, plus I do other work, which keeps me busy. I guess you could say I'm on call 24/7, and I can't talk about all the duties that I have to carry out. But with that said, I'm busy doing that, and so the only way I can support myself is, of course, to rely on the Lord and His servants who send donations whenever they happen to come in. And I'm very blessed to say that today somebody sent me a blessing. Somebody who has never sent me one before, and it was really out of left field, and I was very surprised, pleasantly surprised. And so I contacted the person and thanked them and prayed my blessing over them that God would just bless them abundantly for it. So it's greatly appreciated. And I guess I'm being reminded that it's tax time here in the US of A. So I guess a lot of people are getting their taxes back. I'm not going to say his name. He's no longer on my Facebook. He does a lot of videos. I remember he would do a lot of videos around. He's not American, I'll just say that. But he would do a lot of videos around tax time because he knew that maybe if he did enough videos, somebody would send him a bunch of money. This was a guy who, this guy said that Donald Trump was going to win a second term in a row. And when I called him out on it, he didn't like it. And we had words, and then that sort of destroyed or put an end or put to bed our Facebook friendship once and for all. I have no desire to have this person on my Facebook, especially since some of the things they say and teach I don't agree with anyway. But that's the past. That was a couple years ago. Alrighty. October the 4th in Trusting in God Devotional. This is called the Holy Selector. And what a surprise. They once again want us to read in John 15, 1 through 17, but I am prepared. I have a different version. I read this before in the last group of devotionals for the last month. The wording's very different, that's for sure. My bookmark is actually right where it needs to be. How about that? Same place where it was the last time. They quote John 15, 16, which says, "You didn't choose me, I chose you. I appointed you to go and produce lasting fruit." That's a different version. Let's take a look at what Jesus says in the first 17 verses using the Voice translation. You'll find it to be very different, but that's what I want. Different wording, different aspect on it. Okay, Jesus saying, "I am the true vine, and my Father is the keeper of the vineyard. My Father examines every branch in me and cuts away those who do not bear fruit. He leaves those bearing fruit and carefully prunes them so that they will bear more fruit. Already you are clean because you have heard my voice. Abide in me," or remain, that's what it means, "and I will abide in you. A branch cannot bear fruit if it is disconnected from the vine, and neither will you if you are not connected to me. I am the vine and you are the branches. If you abide in me and I in you, you will bear great fruit. Without me, you will accomplish nothing." Without Jesus, you're going to accomplish nothing that matters in life. I don't know, some of these videos it looks like I got a bump or something on my chin, but there's nothing there. It just looks like there is. It's funny how cameras play tricks, huh? All right. "If anyone does not abide in me, he is like a branch that is tossed out and shrivels up and is later gathered to be tossed into the fire to burn. If you abide in me and my voice abides in you, anything you ask will come to pass for you. Your abundant growth and your faithfulness as my followers will bring glory to the Father." Now, it's actually cool. They have, let me read this really quickly too. This is something they put these little excerpts in between. It says, at a time when all his disciples are feeling as if they are about to be uprooted, Jesus sketches a picture of this new life as a flourishing vineyard, a labyrinth of vines and strong branches steeped in rich soil, abundant grapes hanging from their vines, ripening in the sun. Jesus sculpts a new Garden of Eden in their imaginations, one that is bustling with fruit, sustenance, and satisfying aromas. This is the kingdom life. It is all about connection, sustenance, and beauty. But within the promise of this life is the warning that people must be in Christ and they will not experience these blessings. Now, I just read that with you to show you what kind of Bible this is. They have, it's almost like a commentary, I guess you could say. Let's continue. Tail end of verse 8 into verse 9. Your abundant growth and your faithfulness as my followers will bring glory to the Father. And then Jesus says in verse 9, I have loved you as the Father has loved me. Abide in my love. Follow my example in obeying the Father's commandments and receiving his love. If you obey my commandments, you will stay in my love. I want you to know the delight I experience to find ultimate satisfaction, which is why I am telling you all of this. My commandment to you is this: love others as I have loved you. There is no greater way to love than to give your life for friends. You celebrate our friendship if you obey this command. I don't call you servants any longer. Servants don't know what the master is doing, but I have told you everything the Father has said to me. I call you friends. You did not choose me, I chose you, and I orchestrated all of this so that you would be sent out and bear great and perpetual fruit. As you do this, anything you ask the Father in my name will be done. This is my command to you: love one another. So as you can see, that's a different version, but it's got some good wording in there. Something to make you think. Okay, the Holy Selector. When a national sports team is selected, there is normally a panel of selectors who choose the team. Sometimes a player is so good that he is an automatic choice. When explaining this selection, commentators say he selected himself. Jesus knew that some of the disciples he chose were fairly strong, forceful people who could act with authority. They would want to take control of the group when Jesus had left them. They would compete with each other for the role of the leader. I don't know what kind of picture you get in your mind when you read the Bible, but the disciples were not with Jesus 24/7 all the time. Some of them would come and go. Sometimes they had other things to do. When they, depending on the physical location they're at, if they were in somebody's hometown, that person would go visit their family. They might take a little time out, just like we might do today if we were missionaries going around a country or a state, right? It's the same thing. So they weren't always together. They would be coming and going. Jesus affectionately reprimanded all of them and reminded them that they hadn't chosen themselves, and neither did they choose him. He, and only he, chose them. They were his choice, his people appointed by him. They responded to his authority and carried out their tasks on his command. They were not their own people, but belonged to Jesus. Some people are in a dominating position in Christian churches and communities to such an extent that they seem to think the church is their own group, under their authority. Some leaders are so self-centered that they create the impression that God is there to meet their needs and to give them the glory they think is due to them. You, a disciple of Christ, must remember that this is precisely what you are. A learner called by the teacher. You are there to serve him, not yourself. From all the available people, he chose you, and it is an honor and privilege to be chosen. Therefore, always be God's man or woman. And Charles H. Spurgeon said, "It is a good thing God chose me before I was born, because he surely would not have afterwards." Okay? I don't know if that's true or not, but I mean all of it. I thank you, leader and master, that you chose me in spite of the name, It says of, and then name the things that hold you back from serving the Lord. Let me read that again. I thank you, leader and master, that you chose me in spite of. And then you can put your own things in there. Name the things that hold you back from serving the Lord. Nothing's holding me back. I know that for a fact. Hopefully you can say the same. All right. It's almost midnight. God bless you guys. Hope you enjoyed this. Share the video around. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you have not. And hey, if you feel led to donate to the ministry, even a few dollars, look at the information at the end of the video. Have a wonderful night.